Take a look at this chart. Gold is skyrocketing. And I don't mean in that normal, boring markets do their thing way. No, this is more like someone chugged a Red Bull at 3 a.m. while blasting motivational podcasts. Because here's the reality. Over the last 40 years, gold has averaged around a 6 to 7% annual return. Solid, steady, unexciting. But over the past 5 years, gold's been pulling nearly 20% per year. That's not normal. Something unusual is happening. So, what does that mean? Two possibilities. Either the world is completely off the rails, or I've been massively underestimating how much humans emotionally love shiny rocks. Either way, gold is hitting new record highs as I record this, and it only gets stranger from here, because nobody seems to agree on why this is happening. Not traders, not economists, not analysts, and definitely not that one Reddit user who spends 8 hours a day preaching about precious metals and canned beans. Before we dive deeper, quick shout out. This video is powered by Notion, and I don't mean some awkward sponsored content plug. I literally built this video's research workflow inside Notion. Normally, when I'm digging into macro data, gold reports, and spreadsheets, my laptop sounds like it's about to launch into orbit. But with Notion Agent, all the heavy lifting is handled automatically. I can ask it for a 2026 gold market outlook or see total gold holdings across central banks, and boom, it does all the work. Want to add more data? Notion updates it dynamically. What used to take hours now takes minutes, all in one clean workspace. Links below if you want to check it out. Back to gold, the asset that suddenly got everyone talking. Something big is happening underneath the surface. What used to be a boring, slow-moving asset is now putting up numbers that look straight out of a sports highlight reel. So what's driving this? Let's start by addressing the most common explanation: inflation. Sure, inflation sucks. Rent, groceries, even fast food feels like it's on steroids. But gold isn't surging just because prices are rising. If that were the case, we would have seen gold blow up back in 2021 when CPI numbers were screaming. But it didn't. Gold barely moved. Inflation is a factor, yes, but it's not the main driver. Here's the real story. Foreign countries are quietly losing faith in the US dollar. And when I say quietly, I mean the subtle, delete all your couple pics on Instagram before announcing a breakup kind of quiet. For the past 80 years, the dollar has been the world's reserve currency, the go-to for central banks holding reserves for trade and stability. But now, central banks are changing their tune. Not by dumping the dollar outright, that would trigger chaos, but by slowly diversifying away from it. 20 years ago, central banks held over 70% of their foreign reserves in dollars. Today, that number is down to 58%. That 12-point drop might sound small, but in global reserves, that's trillions of dollars shifting quietly. And what are they buying instead? Gold. It's the safety net, the just-in-case hedge, the ultimate backup plan. Central banks are snapping up gold at a record pace. For 3 years straight, they've bought over 1,000 tons annually, more than double the previous decade's average. In fact, 2024 set a new all-time record for gold purchases. And it only gets stranger from here, because nobody seems to agree on why this is happening. Not traders, not economists, not analysts, and definitely not that one Reddit user who spends 8 hours a day preaching about precious metals and canned beans. That's why this matters. Central banks aren't panicking, they're positioning for uncertainty. And the strange part, stocks are near all-time highs. Risk-on assets are flying. AI stocks are valued like they'll replace half the workforce tomorrow. And yet gold is also at all-time highs. That doesn't normally happen. Usually, markets pick a lane, either risk-on or risk-off. Right now, stocks, bonds, and gold are all sending conflicting signals. And that's why this gold rally is worth paying attention to. Not because gold is shiny, not because it's hitting weekly highs, but because the biggest global financial players are quietly repositioning and almost no one is talking about it. So, drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think is really happening here? One thing's for sure, markets don't act like this when the future is clear. And right now, gold is sending a very loud, very quiet warning.